There are legends who shaped music, and then there was Elvis Presley, a man whose voice shook the world, yet whose final years carried a silence no one was prepared to hear. This is not a story of fame or glory. This is the story of a man fighting time, expectations, and his own breaking heart. Welcome to Raising Stars. Today, we walk into the shadows behind the spotlight, the hidden truth behind Elvis Presley's final years. Before we begin, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to support documentaries like this. Chapter 1. The Man Behind the Myth. In his final years, Elvis was no longer just an icon. He was a symbol the world refused to let age. People remembered the young boy from Tupelo, the revolutionary performer from the 50s, the cinematic hero of the 60s, the unstoppable force of the early 70s. But behind the scenes, the man himself was exhausted. For decades, Elvis carried expectations not just from fans, but from his team, his industry, and a world that demanded an eternal king. And yet, the man behind the myth was quietly collapsing. Those close to him said he felt like a prisoner inside his own legend. His body was aging, but the world insisted he stay immortal. Chapter 2. Isolation in Graceland. Graceland once was Elvis's paradise, filled with laughter, music, friends, late-night conversations, and dreams. But in the last years, it slowly transformed from a sanctuary into a golden cage. Curtains stayed shut. Lights stayed dim. Visitors became rarer. His world shrunk down to only a few trusted faces. People often imagine legends surrounded by crowds, but Elvis spent much of his final years deeply alone. He walked the halls of Graceland at night, not as a king, but as a man searching for a moment of peace that fame had stolen from him. Chapter 3. Health struggles he hid from the world. The world saw Elvis as larger than life, but his body was quietly breaking. Behind stage costumes and bright lights, he battled chronic pain, fatigue, insomnia, and pressure from non-stop performances. Doctors tried to manage his symptoms, but the solutions created new problems. As the years passed, simple tasks became harder. Breathing, resting, even walking long distances. The world said, "He's still Elvis, he's still unstoppable." But those close to him saw the truth. He was hurting, deeply, constantly. Yet, he continued performing, not because he had to, but because he believed the world still needed him. Chapter 4. The Weight of Fame. Fame can be a crown or a chain. For Elvis, it became both. He was followed everywhere, every move analyzed, every rumor amplified. The world demanded perfection, and Elvis tried desperately to deliver. But fame had a hidden cost, one that ate away at privacy, peace, and even identity. There were days he felt like, the world owns me, and I own nothing. His handlers, label executives, and business pressures pushed him to appear on stage again and again, even when his body begged for rest. He feared disappointing people. He feared stepping away. And in that fear, fame tightened its grip. Chapter 5. Family distance and emotional strain. Elvis loved deeply, but his personal relationships were strained by schedules, cameras, and expectations. His daughter, whom he adored, saw him less than the world did. He cherished every moment with her, yet guilt haunted him. Guilt that life on the road had stolen time he could never reclaim. His romantic relationships felt the pressure of fame's constant spotlight. He struggled to be fully present, not because he didn't care, but because his emotional world was collapsing. The man who lit up arenas fought silently to keep his personal life from burning out. Chapter 6. Graceland Nights. Late at night, Elvis's real world began. He would sit at his piano, letting his fingers wander across the keys, creating melodies only the walls ever heard. Conversations with close friends lasted until dawn. Topics ranged from philosophy to spirituality to regret to dreams he still held. These were the moments that reminded him, beneath the fame, he was still human. Sometimes he laughed. Sometimes he cried. Sometimes he simply stared out the window, wondering what life might have been if he were just Elvis, the man, and not Elvis Presley, the legend. Chapter 7. Pressure of constant performances. As the world demanded more shows, Elvis's schedule intensified. Airplanes, hotel rooms, dressing rooms, backstage corridors, and endless crowds became his everyday life. He performed through exhaustion, through pain, through emotional storms no one saw. Every time he stepped on stage, the roar of the crowd reminded him why he kept going. But every time he stepped off, the silence reminded him how much it cost him. Elvis wasn't just battling his health. He was battling an empire that relied on his image to survive. Chapter 8. The things he wanted to say. There were stories Elvis wished he could tell, dreams he wanted to pursue, truths he wished the world knew. He longed to take a break, to explore new musical paths, to reinvent himself. But commitments, contracts, and expectations held him back. People close to him said he often whispered, "I still have so much left inside me." The tragedy is, he never got the chance to show the world the final evolution of his artistry. Chapter 9. His final days. In the very end, Elvis was tired, not of music, but of the weight he had carried for decades. Those who saw him in his final days described a man who was soft-spoken, gentle, and reflective. He revisited old memories. He looked through photo albums. He spent quiet evenings with his daughter. He sat for long periods in silence, as if trying to understand his own story. He knew the world still adored him, but he also knew he was running out of time. His final days were a mix of reflection, regret, and an unspoken wish for one last chance to rest, heal, and begin again. Chapter 10. The truth the world never saw. Elvis Presley was not just a superstar. He was a man who gave everything: his youth, his passion, his health, his dreams to a world that loved him deeply yet demanded endlessly. The hidden truth behind his final years is simple and heartbreaking. He didn't fall because he was weak. He fell because he was human, and the world never allowed him to be. Elvis Presley's final years remind us that behind every legend is a fragile human heart. His voice changed history. His presence shaped generations. And even in his struggles, his legacy shines brighter than ever. Thank you for watching this documentary on Raising Stars. If this touched your heart, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe for more stories of the legends who shaped our world.